Welcome to Empower TV, where we leave a legacy of hope through conversations that uplift, educate, and inspire. Listen to incredible stories of people who overcame challenges and barriers. Celebrate victories, learn from setbacks, and push forward together. Want to be empowered? Let's go.
Welcome to the show. Today we have a deeply moving and powerful conversation ahead. Our studio guest is a woman whose life was forever changed through an unimaginable tragedy. She lost her beloved daughter, but in the face of this grief, she has found a strength and a resilience that inspires us all. Patricia Fortune, you are a courageous mother and an extraordinary woman. Welcome to the show and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me, Lorna. It's a great opportunity to talk to you today.
You are a brave and phenomenal woman. So let's start this conversation by honoring your daughter, right?
Her name is Cameron Fortune, but we called her Tammy in short. So that was a nickname. Everybody knows her as Tammy.
Oh, really? That's so cool. I know you said that she was a gymnast, right?
She was artistic gymnastics, and her favorite part for me was her floor routine. Oh, she was perfect on the floor. I loved it.
Patricia, tell us a little bit about your daughter and what was one of your favorite memories about her?
When you say favorite memories, the first thing that actually comes to mind is her smile. Tammy used to be this bubbly person, you know. She could make the whole world smile. So whenever I think of her, you know, I just think of that beautiful smile and the happiness that she brought to people's lives.
You know, losing a child, I think it's unimaginable, the pain that a mother goes through. How did you begin to process this grief?
The thought of losing a child never crossed my mind until it happened. When we were in the hospital and we started realizing what was happening, I thought to myself, but you know, this only happens in the movies. This can't be real. And I think the reality doesn't kick in immediately. It's only after everybody's gone and the week after, then you realize my child is no longer here. My child is gone. And then you have to just live with that pain. You have to feel that pain. You have to just do not try and be strong. Do not try and hide. So cry if you need to cry. Say her name. Call her if you need to. So you need to do what works for you. You need to, otherwise you won't be able to cope. You have to find mechanisms of making it work for you. So everybody's different. So whatever works for you, works for you. I loved talking about her. I looked at her photos. You know, I did not hide everything. I know some people pack away all this stuff. I decided she is part of me. I am going to keep Tammy with me for as long as I feel necessary. So, yeah, it's still difficult, but you have to find ways of moving on, of accepting it in a way. It's not easy to accept because you do not understand why your child has been taken from you, but you have to get out of that hole somehow and start living again.
Yeah. Was there any specific experiences that helped you through this and that helped you cope?
Crying. Crying was definitely, like I said, I did not hide my emotions. But my younger daughter was very helpful. Actually, both of them. My second daughter was just at university at the time, so that was also very difficult for me. But my younger daughter was with me, and she would always comfort me. So she would see when I'm not in a good space, and then she would comfort me. And I took all the photos that I had of Tammy, that I still have. You know, I used to look at the photos, And I'm not sure if you like me, but as a mom, I always remember every little detail. My daughters do not understand. Mommy, what's wrong with you? You remember everything. But I looked at the photos and the memories kept me going. The memories. I could look at each photo and remember, oh, this is December 2014. This was our last holiday. And that helped me get through it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, all the memories, I think that was precious.
How did the rest of your family cope with the news and the experience?
So I think they were more concerned. They wanted us to be happy. My husband is a very strong person. Each of us dealt with her loss on their own. So I used to give Kurt his space. He gave me my space. And like I say, Chelsea was with me. Kirsten came home for school holidays, for university break. So, but we found ways. We were there for each other. We were there for each other. I think they were stronger than me because like I said, I cried a lot. I just cried. I thought even if it takes me my whole life, I will cry because it's my daughter that I've lost. It's a part of me. And you cannot just make as if nothing happened.
Yeah.
So I think they were the stronger ones. They managed better than me.
I don't know, right? I don't know if crying makes one weak. I sometimes feel that I don't know if it's weak or strong. I feel like it's a strong person who can cry and, have those emotions. I don't know if it's weak or strong. I just think, like you say, it's really important that when you have these moments that it is okay to cry and it is okay to go through those feelings. And then one has to make a choice. All right, so what am I going to do from here? But you are extraordinary that you're using this actually to help other women and other mothers go through, their own grief and things in their lives that is also unimaginable. And, when they're going through very painful circumstances, do you feel like using this to help other people has helped you overcome a lot of it as well, like given you purpose?
It definitely has, Lorna. Especially since September is Brain Aneurysm Awareness Month. I've decided that I'm going to dedicate this month to raising an awareness for brain aneurysms in South Africa. So my daughter was, like I said, she was a gymnast. She was very healthy. There were no, she was not sick. But I must admit, January 2017, she started complaining of headaches. So she told me, Mommy, I've got a headache. And I was thinking, Tammy, you are very young, My mother was 80 at the time. She got headaches. And I thought, Granny gets headaches. So I thought, let's just monitor. And little did I know, when she started complaining of headaches, it was the start of the aneurysm busy bursting. So it started leaking at the time. And if I think back about it now, she complained a few times about having a headache. And in March 2017, she even said that my eyes are sore. And then because she started working, I said, Tammy, maybe it's because you're sitting in front of the laptop the whole day. Let's monitor, Not knowing it was so crucial. I should have taken her to the doctor then.
We know, right, as a mom, I mean, it's a headache, right? We don't really know how severe that is. And did this happen over a certain period of time? Like what was the time frame that she would get these headaches? Was it every single day or was it like random headaches?
So it wasn't every single day. Like I said, it was January 2017. And if I remember correctly, February, she was not feeling well, and she actually went to the doctor, but we thought it was a cold. So she was not feeling well. She had the headache. She complained of her eyes being sore. But it wasn't every day, It was That's why I wasn't concerned at the time because it wasn't constant. But now that I know, now it is so important to make other people aware of those signs so that we do not want to make people paranoid, but you can prevent something from happening if you know what the real cause of the headaches were.
Yeah, I know you shared with me in our pre-interview that, you did a particular brain scan, but one of the scans really didn't show anything. So what kind of brain scans should be done for something like this? Like, what is there that can be done to prevent something like this from happening?
So there is a specialized MRI scan that you can do to find out whether you have an aneurysm or not. So a normal brain scan would not tell you because in 2015, she actually fainted at university. They were sitting outside in the sun and they had a lecture in the sun. And she said when she got up, she fainted. So once again, I was wrong. I misdiagnosed. I said, oh, you were sitting in the sun. That normally happens to me. So we had a brain scan done. And that was the wrong brain scan. That is, if we had done the MRI scan in 2015, we probably would have picked up that she had an aneurysm that was starting to leak or starting to burst. So it is important to do the proper MRI scan.
Do you ever, blame yourself or blame your husband? Did you ever go through a moment like that where you blamed yourself or blamed your husband that you didn't do the proper scan from the start?
I blamed myself from the word go. I blamed my husband because, yes, I had reason to blame myself, Why did I not take her to the doctor? The day when it happened, she phoned us to say that she's not feeling well. I told my husband, let's go to Tammy, let us see if she's fine. And he said, oh, she's fine. And the evening, when it happened, I'm like, we should, us women, as mothers, we should have gone. So I blamed myself. I blamed my husband. But I think mostly myself because I just felt as a mother, I should have known that something was wrong. I should have taken better care of my child. So the blame was there for a very long time.
Yeah. What did that blame do to you emotionally?
Well, eventually I realized that it's not helping, Blaming myself, blaming my husband is not going to bring her back.
Sure.
So eventually you started accepting, you started moving on from that. But I must tell you, it took a long while before I stopped blaming myself. I would go through the medical reports from 2015 every time, and I'm thinking, why did I not pick up? Why did I not take it further? Why did you not see a neurologist? So that blame was there for a very long time. But eventually you realize, you know what, Patricia, it's not going to benefit you. You have to move on from this.
Those why questions, it can drive you crazy, right? And there's just no answers. Like, there's nothing we can do about that. Like, there's no answers. I always try personally, when I start having why questions in my head, is, I try and change that to, what can I do about this now, right? Because there's that, it just keeps us stuck, those whys, right?
Yes.
How did this affect your marriage? How did you guys cope through this in your marriage?
By the grace of God, our marriage survived, even though it wasn't like initially it was very difficult, it was very hard, but our marriage survived. The 26th of September, we will be celebrating our 32nd wedding anniversary.
That's phenomenal.
Next week.
Wow, Patricia. Is there anything specific that you guys did to cope through this and to get over the obstacles? Because I can just imagine how difficult this must be in a marriage to overcome?
I think the fact that we respected each other's differences and we gave each other space, I think that worked. Because like I said, Kurt dealt with it on his, what worked for him on his way. I used to tell my friends, I used to eat, I used to cry, and I used to sleep. So I just focused on surviving, and then I realized that, you know what, you're living unintentionally. This has to stop, you know. But I think respecting each other and each other's differences and giving each other space, that actually worked for us.
I like that, giving each other space. Because if I just think about my own marriage, sometimes it's like when you're going through something, you want your partner to understand what you're going through, experience what you're experiencing, and when you don't, it can, in my experience, it can sometimes feel like a disconnect, right? But it sounds to me like what you did is you actually gave each other that space to heal on your own terms and not kind of expected each other to understand what you're going through and you're going through and wanting them to feel that same experience or to understand that. I don't know. And that's a powerful thing, right? It's just allowing that process for the other person. And so you have two daughters. Like what was their experience like? Like how did they get through this?
The three of them used to be very good friends. If I can just touch on that. In the evenings, I used to watch their movies. Even though they were, Tammy was 22 at the time, they were young adults, but they still watched their cartoons. And I used to lie in the bedroom and I used to hear them laugh, and it brought joy to my heart. It still does. So they were very close. And afterwards, Kirsten and Kelsey were still there for each other. I think that was their coping mechanism, being there for each other.
Mm.
So I also gave them their space, They were there for each other. I was dealing with it on my own. Kurt did what worked for him, but we were there for each other when we needed each other. I think that was the beauty. As a family, we did not lose that bond, and that kept us going.
Was that intentional, not to lose that bond? Is it something that you guys focused on, or you as a mom tried to focus on to be intentional about that?
We were always a close-knit family, and I think it just happened naturally that we had to continue that bond. Even without Tammy, we had to be the Fortuyn family. We had to be who we used to be. It was very difficult. I could not even at first, Lorna, I could not take any photos. I could not stand the sight of taking a photo because immediately I would notice something is wrong. Tammy's missing, But we tried. We tried to keep that bond, and I'm happy we did that.
And now, when you take photos of your family, how does that feel for you now?
It still hurts a lot. I could not take photos till about 2000. The year 2000, I had a birthday, and I was not going to have a party because it did not feel right to have a party without Tammy. But then I decided, you know what, let's do this. Patricia, you need to move on. You need to do this. So we had the party, and we took photos. And even my friend, when she looked at the photos, she said the first thing she noticed was Tammy was not there. But we took the photos. So that was the start, starting to take photos again. And I must also tell you, 2016, Tammy said, we should take a family photo. And she kept on telling, reminding me, we should take a family photo. And we never took the family photo. And when this happened, I was like, you should have taken that photo, So, but I mean, we have lots of, because I always used to celebrate every birthday. I used to bake, let me just share this with you. Tammy's birthday was on Valentine's Day, and so is Kirsten's birthday. Kirsten is the second child. So they used to share a birthday. So we celebrated every birthday. So those memories were precious. Afterwards, like I said, it kept me going.
It's so profound, actually, right, that you're mentioning now is how those memories, once something so traumatic happens in our lives, all the other things kind of just become so unimportant. And the things that are really important starts becoming even more special, like family gatherings and memories and just doing things together as a family and moments together and photos, like having those memories made is really what life is about, right? Wow, this is so special. So yeah, take lots of photos and do lots of family things.
Afterwards, I could thank God. I said, thank you for allowing us to do this, for having these special times as a family, Imagine we did not have those photos. Imagine we did not celebrate life. But I thank God for being part of our lives and for directing us. I think it was just His hand in this, So, yes, families are important, Yeah, you need to keep that bond going.
Yeah, and not to fret too much about the silly stuff, right? Like there, sometimes work and the anxiety of life and stress and the government that we can do nothing about, just the general things in life weigh us down so much that we actually waste a lot of time, not being our best selves. And then not being able to have those invested family moments because we're wasting time on stressing about other things. Like that, for me, is something that I'm intentional about, that I'm really working on myself to, not stress about all the stupid things in life that, you can't do anything about, but to make sure that I'm a great version of myself, once the kids come home from school, or when we having those family moments, because sometimes we can be so exhausted from life, and once the family moments come, you're like, oh, I'm actually not even in the mood for this. Now I've got to cook, then I've got to clean. Like, we think about all the technical things about having this family event, and yet that is actually what life is about, is those special moments, right?
Definitely. I used to be the mother that, I cook every meal, literally every evening. So, yeah, I love to spoil my family. So they were used to that, even though I'm tired, my family comes first. I would just spoil them, and I love it when I see they are happy.
Mm.
So that is me as a mom. As long as my kids and my husband, they have a nice meal to eat, then mom's happy.
Tammy, things that, and I mean, there's no right and wrong way to go through grief, but things that you think can help other women, get through a similar grief in their lives. What advice do you have? Is there anything that you feel like you could have done differently, that might have caused you to stay stuck for way too long, missing even more time with your family that is still alive? Like, what advice would you have for other people out there?
You know what? Everybody's different. I think there's no right or wrong when it comes to grief. It took me 6.5 years to get over my daughter's loss. My friends used to tell me there are stages of grief. I just decided I am not even going to read about that. I want to feel the pain. I want to go through these emotions for as long as it takes, because that is how you heal. If somebody tells you there's stage 1 and you should be at stage 4 now, and maybe you're still at stage 2, you're going to feel, but there's something wrong with me. So everybody's different. Do what you have to do. Do what works for you. Like I say, if you have to cry, cry. If you have to go look at photos, look at photos. If you have to join a support group, do that. Do what works for you. But do not be in denial and think, I'm okay. Everything is fine, because you will lose yourself in the process. I am just glad, by the grace of God, He carried me through this, that I could see that there is light at the end of the tunnel. I think my faith was the anchor of my healing journey. I think without God, this would not have been possible. We have always been a very strong Christian family. So that just carried me through. Because, when you have those questions about why did God take my child? Why did this happen to me? Unanswered questions. The one thing that I realized through that process is that you cannot be angry with God. Even though your child is gone, you do not understand. So without God in our lives, we would not have survived, none of us. So spiritually, if we were not strong spiritually, we would not have made it. So God is the center of our family.
Yeah, that's so true, because what you're saying now is something that I've heard so many times, where people actually lose their faith when something like this happens in their life because of the fact that they blame God, right? This, how could you do this? Why did you take my child? How can this happen? And then they cut off the only source that actually is going to give them strength and power to get through something like that. And then that bitterness and unforgiveness, it eats at you like a cancer. It is the worst thing that one can actually do. And life is life, right? It says in the Word of God that we will have trials and tribulations in this world, right? We know our children is a gift, and we don't know for how long we will have our kids with us. We don't know how long we will have our loved ones with us. But yet, when it does happen, it is unimaginable pain.
Worst pain ever.
Yes, I think so, because for a mom, it's a part of your being, your heart, your body, your soul, your everything, right? That is walking around in this world. And so even when they're alive, I know of a lot of parents whose kids are alive and causing them so much pain every single day. And so it's to, like you were saying, work through those emotions and be intentional as to where we're going with what's happening in our lives, and not to sit stuck in a position thinking, why did this happen? Why? Because that really is not moving us forward in any way. Yeah. Patricia, you are now a finalist of Mrs. Bold South Africa. So that is phenomenal. Tell us about this platform. How did you get involved with it? And how are you using this platform to spread your story of hope, as well as awareness, right? You are running this awareness campaign. But yeah, how did you get involved?
So Mrs. Bold is a phenomenal platform. When I read or I saw them on Instagram, I decided this is for me. This can work for me. Because I must tell you, Lorna, I'll say it quietly, I'm 54 years old. So a 54-year-old lady is not supposed to enter a pageant. But I mean, I love the pageant. I love what it stands for. I love their vision. And I decided, I can use this pageant to actually raise an awareness for brain aneurysm. Because you have to, it's not just about entering a pageant, your why has to be strong. They want to know what difference do you want to make by entering this pageant? So that is when I decided Mrs. Bold can definitely work for me.
I love that. So it's not all about glitz and glamour and walking on a stage in a bikini. It is actually a powerful story and how you're going to impact the world through what you are doing, right? I love that.
What I like about Mrs. Bold, because they actually celebrate the multifaceted brilliance of us women. They realize that we're all different, and they realize that life experience come in different forms, and that is why they allow us women to tell our stories and to make an impact in the world out there. And Mrs. Bold, they require from us as finalists to get involved in our community. So I've been getting involved in a few projects in my community. So that is what I like about it. Like you say, it's not about the glitz and the glam, but it's about making a difference in your community and inspiring other women.
Oh, that's so special. And you're a perfect person to do that because you are phenomenal. You're so brave and you're so inspirational. So what are you going to do with the crown if you win?
I am visualizing wearing that crown, Lorna. I just have a few. There are just there's one stumbling block between me and the crown. I still need to get my sponsorship amount. I haven't finished that yet till end of September. But I am telling you, I can see myself when I saw the ad on Instagram, I saw that crown on my head. So yeah, I am going to definitely inspire other moms out there, and I'm going to wear that crown in honor of other moms who lost their children. They can see there is hope. You can survive the loss of your child. You can live intentionally again. So I'm going to let that crown shine bright in honor of Tammy, and I'm going to be a beacon of hope for other mothers who went through the same pain.
Patricia, you're one of the most courageous women I've ever met, and it was such an honor for us to have you here today. And I hope that you win that crown. You are definitely deserving of it, for sure. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's an absolute pleasure.
And that is it from us. If you would like to get hold of Patricia and join her awareness campaign, her details will be on the screen. If she has touched your heart and you want to become one of her sponsors to help her raise awareness, her details will be on the screen for that as well, and also in our show notes. Please like, share, and subscribe to our episodes to allow us to make more shows. And until next week, goodbye.